Utensils hygiene is an important thing and influential to the food quality. Dirty utensils could cause microorganisms or germs left on the utensils and multiply, so it will contaminate the food. And like the other cutlery, only washing it by water is not enough to remove microorganisms or bacteria that are left on it. Please refer to the following explanation. Clean and Well Pack Indonesia has gone ATP testing on its products, which contains Welltouch inside, with the aim of proving that products from Clean and Well Pack Indonesia can eliminate bacteria, fungals, viruses, and also odors. ATP is an abbreviation of adenosine triphosphate, which means the molecules of any living organisms such as animals, plants, microorganisms, etc. ATP can indicate the presence of living organisms. Therefore, the amount of ATP are proportional to the number of pollutants, including the presence of bacteria. These two tools are a kit for measuring ATP. UltraSnap is a tool used to take ATP samples on the surface of an item. Furthermore, there is a CleanQ, which is a portable ATP measuring device, which works to detect ATP compounds that produced by living things to get a direct and reliable analysis result. So, are unclean cutlery dangerous and can cause organisms or germs? We are Clean and Well Pack Indonesia and have already done ATP test series on several objects. First test is conducted on utensil cutlery from restaurants such as spoon, fork, and chopsticks. First test result on utensil cutlery has 510 ATP. This proves that there are organisms that live on the surface of utensils. Next, we applied the Welltouch Inside product to the test object. This time we used the Welltouch Inside white napkin product on the fork and spoon, while the chopsticks were rubbed using Welltouch Inside wet tissues. The second test is conducted on spoon and fork after being rubbed by Welltouch Inside white napkin. It's seen that ATP result is decreasing drastically to 59. Followed by the third test on chopsticks after being rubbed with Welltouch Inside wet tissues. It can be seen that the ATP results also dropped very drastically to 51. This proves that both products from Clean and Well Pack is proven to remove organisms or bacteria on the utensils. Next, we did an ATP test on 3 eggs that we had just bought at the convenience store. We were quite surprised because the amount of ATP found was very high, 6056. This time we used 3 products from Clean and Well Pack, which are Welltouch Inside Masaki cooking towel, Welltouch Inside white napkin, and Welltouch Inside wet tissues. The second test is conducted on eggs that are already being rubbed with Welltouch Inside Masaki cooking towel. The test result proves that ATP number has dropped drastically to 2. The third test on egg that is already being rubbed by Welltouch Inside white napkin, and the test result shows ATP number that dropped drastically into 11. Furthermore, the fourth test on eggs that had been rubbed with Welltouch Inside wet tissues, the test results showed that the amount of ATP also decreased drastically to 9. This shows that the 3 products from Clean and Well Pack is proven to remove bacteria. The next test was conducted at a restaurant table, and the results showed that there were 731 ATP numbers on the table. This time we use Home Clean Care products on a napkin, to a coating ratio of 1 to 9, 20 milliliters of Home Clean Care liquid and 180 milliliters of water. Rinse the napkin and then dry it first. Then the test is conducted again on a napkin that has been coated with a ratio of 1:9. In order to save on the use of home clean care, we use a ratio of 1 hour 99 minutes when we want to use the napkin. The second test is conducted to prove whether the 1 hour 99 minutes ratio is effective or not for removing bacteria. And the test results showed the number of ATP dropped very drastically to 6. This proves that a napkin that has been coated with 1N9 and then recoated with 1N99 can also be effective in removing bacteria, viruses, and fungi. If we used a regular napkin as a test tool, this time we will use the Weltouch Inside Wipe napkin, which has been coated previously with a ratio of 1:9. For this reason, the first test is conducted on the surface of the baby chair. And the result is that there are 419 ATP in that object. Furthermore, if you want to use the napkin to coat a surface, just use a 1:99 ratio with 5 ml of home clean care liquid and 495 ml of water. The second test is conducted again on the surface of the baby chair. The test results show that the amount of ATP has decreased drastically to 0. This proves that Weltouch Inside Wipe napkin with 1N99 home clean care coating effectively removes bacteria. Furthermore, we also conduct tests on tableware and baby toys. Preliminary tests showed a fairly high amount of ATP at 571. The test stage is continued by washing baby tableware with water. This test aims to prove whether water can remove organisms or bacteria. The second test was conducted again on equipment that had been washed with water. The results prove that there are 463 bacteria. It is proven that water cannot remove bacteria. Next, we used Weltouch Inside wet tissues to coat the baby's bottle and toys. The test was conducted again after the application of the object with Weltouch Inside wet tissues. The test results showed that the amount of ATP decreased to 14. We will do a comparison between Weltouch Inside wet tissues and regular wet tissue. For this reason, an initial ATP test was carried out, and the test results showed that there was 2005 on the surface of the chest of drawers. This is a very high result. After the drawers were divided into two parts, we then applied Weltouch Inside wet tissues and regular wet tissues on each side. A second ATP test was conducted on a drawer that had been rubbed with a regular wet tissue. The test results proved that there were 2013 bacteria in that part of the shelf. The third ATP test was conducted again on a drawer that had been rubbed with Weltouch Inside wet tissues. The test results proved that there were 3 bacteria in that part of the drawer. It can be concluded that the wet tissue product from Clean and Well Pack, which contains Weltouch Inside, is effective in removing bacteria drastically. Next, we also tried an ATP test on freshly purchased pears. To find out if there were organisms on the surface of the fruit, we did an initial ATP test. The test results showed that there were 480 bacteria on the pear surface. To simplify the fruit comparison process, it was divided into 2 parts, then the 2 test subjects were applied, namely Weltouch Inside wet tissues and regular wet tissues. After that, the test was conducted again on pear parts that had been rubbed using regular wet tissues. The results of the ATP test showed that there were 546 bacteria. The third test was conducted on pear parts that had been rubbed with Weltouch Inside wet tissues. The results of the ATP test showed that there were 58 bacteria. This proves that Weltouch Inside wet tissues are effective in removing bacteria on fruit without having to wash it first.